The Crithian warship Bloodclaw hummed with tension as its crew watched their view screens in disbelief. Outside, floating in the void between stars, a single human shuttle approached, unarmed, unescorted, and impossibly small against the backdrop of their massive vessel. They sent one? Commander Velthak hissed, his mandibles clicking in confusion. One human for the spawn of Warlord Grask? On the bridge's main screen, the human's face appeared. Patrick O'Brien looked unremarkable by human standards, middle-aged, weathered, with tired eyes that had seen too many conflicts. He wore no uniform, no armor, just a simple gray flight suit. "This is Patrick O'Brien, civilian negotiator." His voice crackled through the comms. "I'm here for the Cub. Let me aboard." Velthak's second officer, a lean Crithian named Shalkor, leaned closer. "Commander, this must be a trick. Humans don't sacrifice themselves for other species' young, especially not for predators." But Velthak had studied humans during the border wars. He knew their reputation, the galaxy's most unpredictable species, the ones who ran toward danger when every rational being ran away. "Let him dock," Velthak ordered, "but keep weapons trained on his ship." 20 minutes earlier, aboard the human diplomatic station New Horizon, Christina Hayes had made a decision that defied every protocol. "You can't authorize this," her superior officer had protested, slamming his hand on her desk. "We don't negotiate with the Rethkar Syndicate. We certainly don't send civilians into hostile situations." Christina stood her ground, her dark eyes blazing. "The Grask family requested Patrick specifically. He's extracted hostages from worse situations. And if we don't act, they'll kill that cub in 3 hours. It's not our cub, not our species. Not our problem?" Christina's voice cut like steel. "When did we become the species that only saves our own?" She'd already sent the clearance codes. Patrick was already en route. Her career was likely over, but she'd watched the footage of the terrified Grask cub, barely old enough to hunt, taken by criminals who thought they could leverage its life for territorial concessions. The galaxy had rules about such things, but rules, Christina had learned, were what you followed when you could afford to. Patrick stepped through the airlock into a corridor lined with armed Rethkar mercenaries. They were reptilian, scales gleaming under harsh lights, each one carrying plasma weapons that could vaporize him instantly. He walked forward, hands visible and empty. The Syndicate's leader, a scarred Rethkar named Kasix, waited in the cargo bay. Behind him, in a reinforced cage, huddled a small Grask cub, all fur and fangs shaking despite its predatory lineage. "The famous human peacemaker," Kasix said, his forked tongue tasting the air. "I expected someone larger." "I'm big enough," Patrick replied calmly. "Let's talk terms." "Terms?" Kasix laughed, a sound like breaking glass. "You have nothing to negotiate with. No weapons, no backup, no leverage." Patrick met his gaze without flinching. "I have myself. You wanted attention from the Grask warlord clans. You have it. You wanted to prove the Galactic Council can't protect anyone. You've proven it. Now let the cub go. Take me instead." The room went silent. Even the mercenaries exchanged glances. Hostage exchanges were common, but this, a human volunteering to replace an alien cub, was unprecedented. "Why?" Kasix demanded, stepping closer. "Why would you do this? The Grask would eat humans if they were hungry enough. They're not your allies, not even your friends." Patrick thought of Christina, who'd risked everything to send him. He thought of the cub's mother, who'd transmitted a single desperate message across space. "Please." "He's just a child. Because someone has to," Patrick said simply. "Because if we only save those convenient to save, we're not really trying. Because that cub has a family who loves him, and that's enough." Kasich studied him for a long moment. In his years of piracy and violence, he'd faced soldiers, warriors, even hired killers. But this unarmed human with his quiet conviction unnerved him more than any weapon. "You're insane," Kasich finally said. "Your species is insane." "Probably," Patrick agreed. "Do we have a deal?" Aboard the Bloodclaw, Commander Velthak watched the exchange through hacked surveillance feeds. His claws gripped his command chair. "He actually did it," Shalkor breathed. "He traded himself." On screen, the Rethkar were opening the cub's cage. The young Grask stumbled out, disoriented, then bolted toward the airlock where Patrick had entered. Patrick had already directed him to the emergency pod, a small craft the Rethkar had agreed could carry the cub to safety. As the pod launched, Kasich turned to Patrick. "You understand you may not survive this. The Grask will pay a ransom, but slowly. We may grow impatient. Then you'd be making a mistake, Patrick said quietly. Because if you kill me, you won't just anger the Grask. You'll anger every human in this sector. And we're very, very good at holding grudges. It wasn't a threat, just a statement of fact. And somehow that made it more terrifying. Christina watched the Cub's pod dock with the blood claw through her station's sensors. Behind her, a communication chimed. Warlord Grask herself, the most feared predator in 3 systems, appeared on screen. The human, Patrick O'Brien. Grask's voice rumbled. He saved my grandson. Yes, Christina said. And now we need to save him. Grask's eyes gleamed with something that might have been respect. Your species confuses me, human Christina. You're small, weak, short-lived. Yet you do things like this, Christina smiled grimly. We're not built like you. We're not born hunters. But we're stubborn, Warlord, and we protect cubs, all cubs, even when they're not ours. Then we will bring him home, Grask declared. Together. 3 days later, Patrick walked off a Grask battle cruiser onto New Horizon Station, bruised but alive. The Rethkar had released him after a joint human-Grask operation made their position untenable. Christina met him at the airlock. They didn't speak, didn't need to. Behind them, the Cub's mother had sent a message that would circulate through diplomatic channels for years. Humans are neither the strongest nor the oldest, but they are the ones who come when others call. Remember this, and the galaxy did remember,